These past few weeks, I've been thinking a lot about everything that has been going on. It has made me want to use my voice even more and speak up for those who are not getting justice. It is also opening my eyes to the fact that there are so many uneducated people. It's hard to nicely correct people without offending or starting something you do not want to start. I like to think I'm a pretty chill person, and I don't really like to put people in their place. It's uncomfortable for being the other person lots of the time. However, I've realized that now is the time to get uncomfortable. I've lived in Utah my entire life. I wish I could say it was 100% a good experience living here. People have treated me very nicely here, and I have been accepted many times, but I've also felt the complete opposite many times. Much of them were when I was little. I've gotten used to little comments by kids. There's been a few times where I have felt as though I'm not meeting the standards because I'm not your typical cute white girl. I've gotten used to correcting people time after time, telling them not to use the N word. I've gotten used to things that you just shouldn't ever be used to. As one of your rare Black Americans living here in Utah, I'm asking you to please be open and educate yourselves. Make yourself uncomfortable and educate your family and friends. The only way situations like these will stop is when you're willing to listen and then act. Right now is the time to speak up. There's a few quotes from my favorite movie, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. The first one is, "The hate you give little infants F's everybody." What it means is the racism, the stereotypes, the hate you throw out will bounce back to the little ones. Whether they experience it themselves or hear about it, it will always stick with them. And it's just a ripple effect for generations and generations and generations. The second one, which is probably my favorite, is, "What's the point of having a voice if you're gonna be silent in those moments you shouldn't be?" So start now, speak up now, evaluate yourself, and if you need to readjust your thinking, get uncomfortable and do it. And then continue to help others do that also.
Hi, my name is n.Ch. I work with International Friends Program. What America is going through right now is very heartbreaking. I am originally from Iran and would like to share a part of a poem from an Iranian poet named Sadi. Sadi Shirazi was the poet of the 13th century. One of his poems by the name of Bani Adam, meaning the sons of Adam, talks about the origin of humanity and how we are all a part of the same creation. If you ever visit the United Nations in New York City, you can see this poem inscribed on a large handmade Persian carpet installed on the entrance of the building. I'm going to read the poem in Persian first and then the translation. بنی آدم اعضای یک پیکرند که در آفرینش ز یک گوهرند. چو عضوی به درد آورد روزگار، دگر عضوها را نماند قرار. تو که از محنت دیگران بیغمی، نشاید که نامت نهند آدمی. Human beings are members of a whole, in creation of one essence and soul. If one member is afflicted with pain, other members uneasy will remain. If you have no sympathy for human pain, the name of human you cannot retain. So what it means is the limbs of the whole body of one person are all connected, and when one limb gets hurt, the other parts of body cannot remain at rest. And this goes for all the human beings, and we are all the limbs of each other because we are created of one essence, and if we don't have sympathy for each other, so we are not worthy to be called human. Thank you. I wish peace for everyone.
A Small Needful Fact by Ross Gay is that Eric Gardner worked for some time for the Parks and Rec Horticultural Department, which means, perhaps, that with his very large hands, perhaps, in all likelihood, he put gently into the earth some plants which, most likely, some of them, in all likelihood, continue to grow, continue to do what such plants do, like house and feed small and necessary creatures, like being pleasant to touch and smell, like converting sunlight into food, like making it easier for us to breathe. The Wave of the Future, Blackout Poetry by Elizabeth Grace. In the tragedies, the gods never forgave the sin of pride, the sin of resistance to change. Change is the very essence of living. The questions of life, Christ's answer, thou hast, give. Will expressions of a common movement, spiritual one, we do not yet recognize as such. I believe that it is in its essence good. We cannot see it. We are slow to change. The heavy crust has taken. Revolution, correct the abuses. We are at this moment, both spiritually and materially. They should be faced and faced squarely. We are very convincing, seems to me. True, perfectly true. We can put our faith in spirit, strength. Whether or not one likes it, one cannot deny its existence. To rouse the same spirit, I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat, courage, self-sacrifice, determination. I believe we need to be defended. He cannot bring or stop the storms, limits of his life or of his body, cannot lessen suffering. Hopelessly at mercy. Today, is it not to resist life before? Are we afraid of change, of responsibility, of growing? Are we afraid of paying the price to be strong, morally and spiritually? For only reform and change is true security to be found, built on ideals, prayers, and the dream of making a better world. We have been blessed. Tolerance of tradition. It should be possible to change an old life to a new. We who looked forward to new ideals, who pinned its faith on dreams rather than memories. We are the dreamer of dreams, a dream that is coming to birth. We, living in between two dreams, we have waked from one and not yet started the other. Our hearts, how beautiful it was. Sky crimson fades into gray dawn, a tremendous challenge to bring a dream to birth in. The task before us may mean sacrifice, giving up part of the ease, but it might also gain in spirit, in vigor, and in self-reliance. No price could be too high. Abroad should not discourage us. We have faced as difficult ordeals before our history. We should meet such a test, our faiths, a reaffirmation, not abandoning of our fundamental principles, a reexamination to determine whether we are following the living spirit, a rekindling of them, a life-giving process. It seems to me, us, it will take labor, patience, pain, and infinite faith in the future.
I see it, and so do you. It's not hard when it's in your living room. The yelling matches, it's telling of fascists. Whiteness so blinding, to witness so frightening. Not seeing humans, not acknowledging movements. I wonder if you stood face to face, a mother whose child has that same fate, that all black people share. You'd probably pretend to care. Shuffle home to your manicured lawn, calling all these murders just a pawn. Screaming, it's not real, it's fake. You see, all these people do is take. Black people love to play the victim. Lazy, seeking handouts, no conviction. Black people kill black people statistically. Why care more when it's police specifically? A few bad cops don't condemn the rest. Every cop I've ever known is the best. Where's my all-white college? Heck, Ivy Leagues have POC slots allotted. Getting in on academic merit is rare, but to look good, we have to share. I retort, you mentioned handouts just then. Think about all we've taken from them. Lazy. Right, that's why black people slaved. Uneducated, that's the road white paved. But resilience? We didn't plan on that. Certainly didn't expect pushing back. The peace line has been crossed. Yet there's a riot when a sports team lost. A community grieves for another life, another black victim of police crime. You shout, all lives matter! But it wasn't you. It's not about you. You are lazy and uneducated to surmise that handouts of more black lives is lies. Your conviction is only for yourself, white pride beaming as our country fails. We the people is our nation's call. Black lives matter or none at all.
My name is Jocelyn Saunders Spencer. I'm an African American woman living in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'm also a U.S. Air Force veteran. I wrote this one evening when I was fed up from reading posts from my friends regarding George Floyd and Black Lives Matter. I am tired of holding my screams in. I have a lump in my throat, tears in my eyes, and a rage in my heart that I've held in for so long. I've seen many friends post this week about how black people need to get over this. I've seen, I'm white and I have no privilege. I've seen all lives matter. Blue lives matter. It's another black man gone. Who cares? Glad he's underground and off the streets. My thoughts after seeing this were, they still don't care about us. We still don't matter to them. They don't care about the human life that was snuffed out right in front of their very own eyes. This is why we say Black Lives Matter. It's okay. He was a criminal. It's how his life and his death were justified. He was still a human. He mattered. We're the only ones who cared. All lives should matter. But when you truly look around, do all lives matter to you? Would you want to be treated like a black person in America? I've seen people say the kneeling of cap was only to disrespect the flag and vets. Yet, I witnessed people doing that very thing at football games, disrespecting the flag, walking around while the national anthem was being played. As I stood with my hand over my heart, facing the flag. Screw the brutal killing of unarmed black people. Doesn't matter. Now, young white kids are doing a George Floyd challenge. Where's the rage for that? His death was a modern day lynching, yet people were more concerned about a building or business than, oh God, they are killing black people like animals. We can't build a life taken. We can rebuild a business. We can rebuild a building. I am so angry. I have held this anger in for as long as I can remember. From the time I was handcuffed and thrown on the ground as a ninth grader, walking home from school with my friends. I was not a thug. I was a young girl walking home from school. I've held my anger in when my late brother was arrested at a traffic stop and accused of stealing his own company van. The police didn't believe he owned a business. I've held my anger in every time I was called a nigger. I released my anger once when my oldest daughter was called a black nigger bitch in elementary school, and the vice principal called her a juvenile delinquent when she whipped the child's ass who dared to call her that vile string of words. I held my anger in every time someone who looks like me is killed, and everyone who sees it and has an attitude of, get over it. You are numb to us saying our lives matter. You are numb to our pain. We are not numb. You are tired of us asking for a seat at the table. We are tired of begging for it. We will stop talking about racism when we are no longer experiencing it. We are tired of you telling us how we should feel. We are tired of you telling us we should just get over this. We are tired of trying to explain what, why, and how we feel to you. We are tired of making sure we don't hurt your white fragility. I am tired of people on my friends list who say they are pissed off because we are saying, hey, right now, we matter. We are tired of trying to educate you. Educate yourself on systemic racism. You'll learn that it's real. Educate yourself on how this country got started. Through violence, looting, and rioting. Violence was perpetrated upon us when we were stolen and dragged to this country to build it. And stop saying go back to Africa. We were born in America. We are Americans. Violence was perpetrated upon the Native Americans when they were run off their land. They are the only true Americans. So are the Canadians, and so are the Mexicans. This is the North American continent. This is their land, not yours. There are so many people who have been marginalized on this land. Embrace the differences. Don't demonize them. We don't hate the police. Even after what I've experienced, I don't hate the police. But we do need to reform the police. You do have white privilege. It's not economic. It's in the lack of melanin, your lack of melanin that protects you. You don't have to worry about being killed by the police at a traffic stop. I do. Why? My skin is a weapon in their eyes. When police don't approach your car with their hand on their gun or have it drawn for a traffic stop, that's the glory of your privilege. Not all police, just some. Stop saying if you didn't do anything illegal, if you listen and follow instructions, you won't get killed. Tell that to the people who were told so many conflicting commands before they were shot, or were in mental stress before being shot dead, or are in shock and then shot dead, or the ones who were following orders and then shot dead. Our skin is seen as a weapon. I've seen it when people clutch their purses. I shared a story of the older white lady clutching her purse and nearly jumping off the sidewalk when I was only walking to my car at the Salt Lake City VA hospital. She nearly knocked her husband down to get away from me. We are human, just like you are. I wish you would just stop the madness. Stop your friends from saying and doing hateful things. Sit down and listen to your black friends. If you don't have any, find some. Don't get defensive when you are talking to your black friends. We need systemic racism to stop. We need it to be abolished. Start seeing color. It is not a bad thing to see us. Be a part of the solution. If you are white, become an ally who will not be silent. One day, all lives will matter. We're not saying all lives don't matter, but just right now, at this very moment, right now, Black lives matter. If you are offended by my words, please take the time to ask yourself why. You may find you are part of the problem. If you don't see color, then you don't see me. America should be glad that Black and other marginalized Americans only want equality and not revenge. I am tired of holding my screams in.
I fear I'm gonna get shot with my hands up. Mr. Officer, I only didn't meet your demands cause I was scared, afraid, looking for answers. Now I'm feeling like the dead hostage of a ransom. Why you gotta treat me like a miserable cancer? Visceral, eviscerated by division advantage. In my pants, praying that he missing, or at least that my physical stance is visible to the camera. Admissible, but only by municipal dandruff. This'll do. Precision tools will get you flipped on the canvas. Bristle truth will have you gripping through, cause now you want answers. Now you defensive, striving to derive your finances. Afraid and so they praying like a versatile mantis. First of all, they versing you just like a purple through tantrums. Urca remanded, hearses ain't reversible damage. Nurses working to revive him, but the person that jammed it. I ain't gonna pretend like we the only one that's suffering, but something systemic has been in it since we discovered it. I'm talking about what's under it, uncovering the truth behind one-sided media coverage and all the other shit. So instead of busting caps at a Kaepernick, maybe we should just accept the facts are inaccurate. We moved past a bus where the black is in back of us, but we still held down, and that's a tragic establishment. I see lots of lotteries and permanent scratches. Man, they waiting for the vermin to snatch us. She stand for liberty, but god damn it, she ain't earning a stature. Kill the messenger, burn the dispatcher, they got us fucked up. We live knowing that with every fleeting moment we might fleet again. Just to free some birds like we was Peter Pan. Move a couple bricks and you might see the pen. Tell me if you need a friend. In another world we just might meet again. Maybe in this dream called reality with people dying tragically. I'm sad to see this happening. The fact is that they clapping on placentas, won't be napping on the mattresses. The pastors in the Vatican emphatic as a fanatic, and they swearing that the havoc ain't an accident. I'm asking if you really think we passing it, establishing a statute that's inaccurate. Passive it depleted, cause my pacifist is activist. I'm splashing it. I'm steady by the hand of the second. And God we trust, but are you really near the heavens? Steering and veering, I think you really fear the reverend. Talk about colors, switching your colors like iridescence. I fear I'm gonna get shot with my hands up. Mr. Officer, I only didn't meet your demands cause I was scared, afraid, looking for answers. Now I'm feeling like the dead hostage of a ransom. Why you gotta treat me like a miserable cancer? Visceral, eviscerated by division advantage. In my pants, praying that he missing, or at least that my physical stance is visible to the camera. Ignorance is bliss, but inside is a burden. You act like only people with bombs is wearing turbans. Your school of thought is urban, thought school with bourbon. And when you talk, sound like soft stool that's burping. Truly they've been lurking and deceiving a lot of us. Man, this problem's deep-seated and I see there's a lot of it. If you see to stand up, because we can abolish it. Read is anonymous, knowing that their leader's a part of it. They sacrificing niggas so we sip Patron. Feeling like the Django, this shit whips the bone. Clips his foe, act right as split your dome. He receiving paid leave as he dips to Rome. If you wanna make a difference, then tip the pole. Switch the mode, man, shoulda none of this you're prone. Instead of wildin' like, I don't wanna get controlled. Bullets rip your clothes, then lift your soul. I'll be honest, unlikely that she gets consoled. Mommy tears on the casket, her lips fold. Did he really deserve to be on bliss this cold? World took another one, man, this is old. I fear I'm gonna get shot with my hands up. Mr. Officer, I only didn't meet your demands cause I was scared, afraid, looking for answers. Now I'm feeling like the dead hostage of a ransom. Why you gotta treat me like a miserable cancer? Visceral, eviscerated by the vision advantage. In my pants, praying that he missing, or at least that my physical stance is visible to the camera.
I am Niyonta. I am cis-presenting. I am physically and mentally able. I attended private school and a private liberal arts college. I'm currently pursuing a doctoral degree at USU. I am proficient in multiple languages, and I used to represent the privileged majority in my home country before I moved to America at age 20. So, I have cis and able-bodied privilege, some mental health privilege, education privilege, language privilege, socioeconomic privilege, and childhood self-perception privilege. I am also a woman, Muslim, Bangladeshi, brown-bodied, an expat, and cut off from my family. So, I don't have male privilege, majority privilege, religion privilege, citizenship privilege, white privilege, culture privilege, family privilege, or the typical control group, mental health privilege. The interaction and weighted permutations of my privileges and disadvantages allow me to have a very specific and niche relationship with myself and my current society. While I have had experiences and exposures that are angering, demoralizing, disappointing, and depressing in this country, I am still safe. I am still fulfilled, and I still have resources. I cannot pretend to be able to imagine what my life experience would have been if I did not have the privileges that keep me alive and thriving, that elevate and mobilize me, and most importantly, that collectively act as my safety net and defense against my disadvantages. I cannot pretend to begin to imagine knowing how to have survived the disadvantages if I had to do that as a Black body in America. Let's forget America for a minute. Let's talk about where I am from to give context to my positionality. Blackness and darkness are dehumanized and demonized even in South Asia. So much so that we grow up learning from adult vocabulary and policing of skin color that dark is earnestly synonymous with ugly, and light-skinned is earnestly synonymous with beautiful. South Asian and Bangladeshi media relentlessly casts light-skinned actors as protagonists and dark-skinned actors as antagonists. South Asian and Bangladeshi store aisles and TV commercial time aggressively promote Fair & Lovely, a skin lightening cream manufactured by British-Dutch company Unilever and managed by their subsidiary Indian company Hindustan Unilever, and other such whitening creams, as they are called. These products, popular media, and our sociocultural and interpersonal ecologies together act as a modern and technologized colonial ploy that delivers and promotes direct statements that we will be neither socially, nor romantically, nor professionally successful if we do not take measures to whiten our skin. This is post-Mughal Empire subscription of Caucasian, Arabic, Islamic imperialism, post-colonial subscription of white and British supremacy, post-Liberation War subscription of fascist, light-skinned West Pakistani elitism, and postmodern brown self-hatred. In India, Bangladesh's neighboring country, in the past 3 months alone, at least 3 Dalit women and girls were reported to be brutalized and murdered by upper caste rural villagers. This is Brahmin supremacist subscription of Indo-Hindu casteism, classism, and genocidal colorism. These are all examples of within-race colorism. None of this begins to imagine consequences for an outside race. Even so, South Asia has a slur for Black people from the minimal exposure it has had to Black expats and migrants, and Black representation in American and British media and South Asian television. Some Bangladeshi communities and local businesses overtly deny Black foreigner service till date. Western affiliation is perhaps the only protective factor in physical safety. A world that has been conditioned to function with anti-Blackness through more than 400 years of slavery, through colonization, through white supremacist trade and capitalism, through racialized war and genocide is not a safe world for Black people. I will never understand the pain and trauma Black people face every day living in such a world. That is not an easy world. This world has yet to heal from hundreds of years of systemic racism against Black bodies, as well as successfully dismantle power structures that till date maintain racial hierarchies that continue to oppress Black lives. As an immigrant woman of color in this country, my social and personal liberation is tied up with my Black sisters, brothers, and non-binary family. I and other Bengali and South Asians like me stand by our Black community. Black and brown bodies deserve to not only be heard, but listened to. Not only be seen, but looked up to, and not only respected, but honored.
Hello, my name is Umar Shehzad, and I am VP Culture and Education at International Students Council of USU. I do not belong to the African American community, but as a person of color living in America, I owe it to the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s, led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The movement culminated in Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. The civil rights movement was led by the African American community, but benefited all of the Americans. Similarly, the Black Lives Matter movement is not just about African American community. It is about justice and fairness. I, Omar Shehzad, support Black Lives Matter, and so should you.
Hello everyone, my name is Kayleen Lamb and I am the ISC Student Life VP and I'm also the Asian Student Association VP for next year. I read a poem on regards to the events that has occurred and the BLM movement. So the title of my poem is called Strengthen Our Voices. The complexion of one's skin shouldn't determine a villainous kin. Blood of the innocents stained the streets. Cries for help echo with heavy beats. Sirens flashing blue and red to never know if someone's going to end up dead. I can't breathe, said George Floyd. His death creating a void. I can't breathe. The people gritting their teeth, the pain, the outrage. The people getting together to be on the same page. Blue uniformed men playing God, uniting together to protect their murderous squad. What is to serve and protect? In the end, we the people fight for justice with the loud effect. Of the sounds of our voices, we make our choices to finally get the protection and safety we most definitely deserve.